just have a few more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on that note, maybe we can also get started. I know we allocated more time this time around. We have a total of 90 minutes for this meeting. Based on the survey results we shared, we circulated. We've always wished we had more time, especially for the Q&A. So we will allocate a significant amount of time today for the Q&A. Today, we are so thankful for today's session. I hope everyone is all right. We are now finishing week 7, week 8 of this ECQ, and I think there will be conversations more on what we will prepare for the next coming weeks, and we'd like to hear from many of you, including our very distinguished panel members. We are very thankful that we have them with us today. We also have former Undersecretary Mon Ibrahim, who has been kind enough to moderate today's session. So I just so this is Roger Salazar, President of HIMAP. I just wanted to do a quick greet to everyone here, and also do the honors of introducing former Undersecretary Mon Ibrahim. And he is not a stranger to our industry. As everyone knows, USEC Mon has always been a proponent and a sponsor of our industry going way, way back when we began the business process outsourcing industry. He recently retired from the DICT and is very, very active as part now of the Analytics Association of the Philippines. So with that, as a brief background, I know there's so many, when USEC Mon sent me his full list of his profile, it covered 2 pages. So I just wanted to take a short moment just to say a few things on USEC Mon. As we all know, he's also trustee and president of the UP System Information Technology Foundation and part of the technical panel of the CHED since 2006. He has also served in many multinational companies, primarily in the IT sector, and was one of the awardees in the recent Sapphire Flare Awards made by IBPAP in 2016. So on that note, I know there's a lot more USEC Mon, but I wanted to make sure you had enough time for moderating today's event and also have a chance to introduce also our distinguished panel that we have today. And I really look forward to a very engaging and interactive conversation with you, everyone, our members as well, and welcome you to today's event. So I'll turn it over to former USEC Mon Ibrahim. Mon?
Thank you, Roger. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the 5th virtual membership meeting of HIMAP. I would like to thank the Almighty for this opportunity of seeing all of my industry friends once again, albeit virtually. It definitely feels nice to be alive, isn't it? First of all, I'd like to thank HIMAP for inviting me to moderate this session. The last time I've attended one of your physical meetings, COVID-19 was not even yet in our vocabulary. The world as we know it today will never be the same again. The change we've been through and continue to see is very, very profound. It was not just a matter of somebody moving the cheese, but more of the mouse getting trapped in a closed glass jar. And let me warn everyone that the new normal we are seeing today now is just the beginning. Nobody knows what it's going to be 6 months from now, 12 months from now. Most countries thought they were prepared. But as we have seen, nobody came out prepared to handle this pandemic. In due course, I know COVID-19 will be brought under control, but it would have left its mark on our way of life, on business, and how government will govern. While no one is able to grasp the full extent of the changes to come, we all need to see what trends are emerging. Specific to our industry, the healthcare information management industry, we are seeing issues as well as opportunities that are bubbling up. And these are the things that we would like to actually talk about today. This afternoon, we are very fortunate to have with us very prominent personalities in the public sector whose roles are very important to our sector. I'm not sure if Director General Cheng Plaza is already in the call, but let me actually first introduce Deputy Director General Mary Harriet was this Abordo.
They can hear you.
Who actually is taking care of the operations of PEZA. He's a clear government official. He rejoined what used to be EPSA, now PEZA, in 1994. And she rose from the ranks of EPSA.
Oh, ito yun oh.
Okay. General Cheng is, Director General
Yes.
Cheng is in.
I'm here.
Maing hapon manang.
Maing hapon manong.
DDG Abordo joined EPSA upon the invitation of her former immediate superiors. He rose from the ranks and today is in charge of, he's actually in charge of operations as Deputy Director General of PEZA. Well, I don't need to introduce Brigadier General Charito Plaza, whom we call Cheng, okay? She's been around both as a legislator, now as a, head of PEZA, and a little later she's actually going to give us an overview of the new normal in PEZA, okay?
Right.
And I'll come back to you later, Director General Cheng.
Sure.
The next panelist that we have today is actually Governor Angie Cayas of the Philippine Board of Investments. She's also a career government officer. Before being appointed as governor, she used to head the International Investments Promotion Service of the Board of Investments. And today she's in charge of actually doing country sell outside. Okay, so I'm very, very interested to see, the new normal for BUI, what's going to be next for them, especially for, PEZA and BUI doing country sell outside of the Philippines. The third panelist that we have today is Attorney Johann Medallia from the Enforcement Division of the National Privacy Commission, which is very, very close to my heart because I was the one who actually headed the technical working group who drafted the law that actually created the National Privacy Commission. She is also the policy advisor for the business process outsourcing sector of the Data Privacy Council. She holds a Juris Doctor degree from the University of the Philippines and a bachelor's degree from minors in Hispanic Studies and English Literature from the Ateneo de Manila University. So I'll go back. Let me start with General Cheng. Can you give us a short overview of what's going to be the new normal for PEZA, General Cheng? I think you have to unmute yourself, General Cheng.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're coming in clear.
All right. So I just would like to give you an overview of what's happening in PEZA, the status of operations of our 4,000 plus companies and 405 economic zones, both vertical and horizontal. No? So the overall performance or the operating companies in PEZA, generally we have 58.3%. No? So 60% in Luzon, 48% in the Visayas, and 92% are operating in Mindanao. And The IT BPO sector, we have in the overall operating IT BPO is 62%. And then in Luzon, we have 63%, in the Visayas, 54%, and in Mindanao, 100%. So itong IT BPO natin ang talagang survivor, no? So they continuously provided jobs for their workers, no? So ito yung nakaka-survive because they have the biggest work from home workers. And later, Ms. Hari will explain to you the emergency assistance and reprieves that we provide our companies, no? So ito po yung ano ngayon. And then I would like to inform everyone that because of the perfect balancing act that PEZA is doing, focusing on the health of our workers, the disinfection of our ecozone premises, the very strict enforcement of the thermal check, the PPEs, etc. No? And then the housing facilities and the shuttle services that we provide, our companies provide our workers. So I am proud to tell our friends here that of the 405 economic zones, we are all COVID-free, meaning there was no serious victim of COVID. Less than 5 were found to be PUIs and PUMs, and they have ultimately found the negative in the end. So we want to preserve this COVID-free economic zone so we can attract more investors to invest in our economic zones. And in fact, we will be putting up our own COVID testing facilities in the 4 economic zones of PEZA. So we are now we are now looking for the provider of this COVID testing facilities. PEZA will provide the spaces, and there will be 2 types of tests that we will make the companies choose from. Like we have a testing facility that is for rapid test and another testing facility for the PCR or the swab, no? So that our companies can choose whether they want their workers to take the rapid test or the swab or the PCR. So these 4 testing facilities will be provided by the private sector. So we are now looking at their proposals and will decide soonest to put up these facilities in the 4 public economic zones. We will likewise encourage our private economic zones to also have their own testing facility so that we can focus the COVID tests to our workers, because we want to return back to normal where our companies will already operate 100%. So we have to be to assure that the COVID-free ecozones and companies will continue. So we will do the regular disinfection of the ecozone premises, and every company and IT centers, we will be requiring them to do the regular disinfection of their premises. And of course, we are now looking for a sanitent, or it's like a disinfection cubicle that we will put in the gates of our economic zones. So when vehicles will enter our economic zones, this will be disinfected. And then likewise, same procedure, how to disinfect or assure that every person who will enter our economic zone premises are COVID free. So we did a perfect balancing act in promoting, preventing, and protecting the health of our workers. and at the same time, a COVID-free eco zones and company premises. So that's it for now that we can tell everybody here.
Okay.
Likewise, Mon, we will soon build in our 4 public eco zones. We will build dormitories, and then
Okay.
we'll invite private sector providers of shuttle services. Kasi itong dalawa na to ang nakita naming need, no? Like when we started the ECQ and required our IT BPOs and other companies to provide housing facilities. Ito yung one big reason why some of our companies were not able to operate, because it's quite expensive, costly, and the scarcity of these housing facilities, no, inside the zone or near the zone, no. So napakalaking ano po yun, requirement that we impose to our IT BPOs and all our companies. So that's one big reason na meron tayong 40 or 41.7% na non-operating companies. Kasi isa yun. Another, especially in the manufacturing, almost 50% of their raw materials are imported. So when COVID happened in China, especially in China, where most of these importations come from, no? So their suppliers closed. So ito yung reason din na marami tayong manufacturing na who are not operating in this ECQ period because of the lack of raw materials and manufactured materials that they need in their production. Then other reasons for the non-operating companies, yun na yung requirement natin na they should provide housing facilities, shuttle services to their workers, no? So yun ang medyo costly and very scarce, no? So we were able to really maintain that balance na hindi mag-cripple yung economy, assisting our companies to continue their business, no? And then assisting also our workers, especially our workers na hindi sila matatamaan ng COVID. So that's why overall we can say that PEZA did a very, very perfect balancing act.
Oh, thank you indeed, Director General Cheng. Okay, napaka-assuring ng mga sinabi nyo ngayon, and would like to thank and congratulate PEZA for those very proactive initiatives that you've actually taken. May mga nakita kong tanong dito na nagpap doon sa chat, ay hindi ko alam kung kayo ang tatanungin ko or si DDG Harry.
Okay.
Yung bang mga test ba na gagawin natin, will those be provided free of charge?
Oh, what we are looking forward is that pag mga workers, companies will take charge of the fees, the testing fees of their work with their respective workers, no. Si PEZA din, yung mga employees namin in our zones, we will also take charge of the testing fees of this of our PEZA workers. So kanya-kanya, no. Kaya nga we provide the 2 types of testing, the rapid test, which is cheaper, and the PCR, which is
PCR,
PCR, which is a little bit expensive, no? So at least yung rapid test, mabilis din daw ang result nito. In 15 minutes may result na. Although it will require 3 or 4 times rapid testing. But that's good enough to know na kung sino yung found positive, yun lang ang i-isolate and we will bring to the hospitals, no, for treatment. Okay? So, yung mga investors naman, and those who can afford the 2,000 plus, it's like 2,500 to 3,000 daw ang cost ng PCR. this is what we're going to offer to the investors and those who can afford in our economic zones. So why do we want that we will have our own facility, testing facility in our economic zones? Para mabilis po, kasi kung makikisama tayo sa LGUs, no, who are catering to barangay folks, madelay na madelay. Gusto namin sa PEZA na pag 100% operational na yung mga companies, yung kanilang workers are also bringing already their medical clearance, no, that they are clear from COVID. So yun po ang kaya para focus sa mga industry workers. Kasi Mon, if you look at the population of our workers, for example, in our Cavite Economic Zone, do you know that we have 92,000 workers there? Para kaming isang munisipyo or city, yung ating Mactan Economic Zone, we have 62,000 workers. Ngayon, kung sabay tayo sa testing facilities ng LGU, baka mahuli tayo. No? O tapos, in fact, we wrote DOH and DOF na kung pwede, yung free test sana na ibibigay sa mga barangays, ibibigay ding libre sa ating mga workers because our workers are the backbone of our industries, of our economy. So ito yung nagko-contribute, yung mga industry workers natin ang nagko-contribute sa economy ng ating bansa, no? So kaya they deserve to be given free test sana, no? And this will also be a reprieve or parang tulong ng gobyerno sa ating mga investors na natatamaan talaga financially dito sa crisis na to. So at least tulong ng counterpart sana ng gobyerno na hindi na sila ang gagastos sa COVID testing ng workers, no? Sana isama natin sa budget. Unfortunately, parang hindi. Kaya ang mangyayari, we are looking at putting up the two types of testing, which is affordable for the companies.
Okay. Thank you, DG Cheng.
Yeah.
Kay
DG Harry.
DG Harry ko na babato yung mabibigat na pwesto.
Sir, excuse
Mon, can we request DDG Harry to inform everybody here of the emergency assistance and reprieves that we are providing our companies in PEZA?
Sige, DG Cheng. But bago si DDG Harriet, let me actually turn muna to the other panelists. Unang-una si Governor Angie Cayas of BOI.
Sir Mon? Yes, just want to remind that we do have expats on the bridge. So if I may encourage everyone to please speak in English. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I was speaking in Cebuano.
It's okay, sir. It's okay.
Let me turn over to the question to Governor Angie Cayas of the Philippine Board of Investments. Governor Angie, what's new with the Board of Investments? Okay, looking at the new normal that we're into right now. Governor Angie, you have to unmute yourself. Kathy or Bachi, can we unmute Governor Angie?
She has to unmute, sir. I'll be calling her now.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, thank you, Yusek Mon. For BOI, as you know very well that our 2017 IPP has already expired. So we're now, actually we have already submitted to the Office of the President our investment priorities plan for 2020 to 2022. And because of this COVID, because of this pandemic, a lot of adjustments or amendments have been made to this IPP. So the coverage has been relaxed to allow registrability of critical products and services, as well as to provide better incentives to activities relocating from NCR or highly urbanized cities to other locations in the Philippines in support to DTI's Balik Probinsya program, which is to decongest NCR and highly urbanized cities. So a lot of activities, products, and services will be added to the 2020-2022 IPP. Kasi we're not looking it as on a short term, because of after this pandemic. We're still looking at, I guess, for 3 years, this will still linger. So we're doing everything to address all the issues and concerns, and also as well as the needs that will be that will come up because of this pandemic.
Okay, thank you, Governor Angie. We have also with us, as a member of our panel, Attorney Johann Medallia of the National Privacy Commission. Attorney Johann, can you tell us, anything new at the National Privacy Commission, considering that most, almost 50% of the work being done today are actually on a work from home arrangement, and some of our clients do have issues regarding data integrity. So how is the National Privacy Commission actually helping the industry cope with these issues that our clients have?
Okay. Yes, thank you, Sir Mon. And that's true. Now, for the most part, navigating the new normal for the BPO sectors entails maintaining, building, and creating trust and alternative work arrangements. So, in this regard, businesses must be able to show that they could provide adequate services and protect personal information even while working from home. So, in this regard, we also, the National Privacy Commission also publishes different bulletins as well as guidelines for telecommuting. We will also soon be publishing guidelines and circulars on authorized use. For instance, for those companies who allowed their employees to bring home the company issued devices in their homes, or to use their personal devices to access information remotely while they process the information of their clients. And in addition to that, we also publish different bulletins with regard to the public health emergency. For instance, on the issue of disclosure of personal information, we are firm on our stand that we have to collect only what is necessary and disclose to the proper authorities. So sharing of information to the public may only induce fear and discrimination. And you can see reports would show that even health workers and those that are deemed to be COVID positive experience harassment and assault. And you can see that protecting information really in this day and age means protecting lives as well. So I think from the start of the Enhanced Community Authority, we have published around 11 bulletins with respect to discrimination, calls against discrimination on COVID positives, on disclosure of personal information at the time of public health emergency, and so on. Sermon, I think you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry for that. Thank you, Attorney Johann. Let me, go back to both PEZA and the BOI. you've actually been, the lead agencies for our country cell initiatives abroad, okay? And the usual, or how the way we used to do it is we actually do road shows, foreign road shows, things like that. Now, with the new normal, we understand that's not going to be the easiest way. So, how do you intend to actually go through our country cell initiatives in this new normal?
Yes.
Let me start with DG Harry, or would it be actually DG Cheng?
Yeah, I'll say more of that. That's part of our marketing and promotion programs. No? So we have set the 10-point program of PEZA and some special projects. And one of our 10-point programs in the new PEZA is the marketing and promotion. So earlier, for 2 years now, we were able to establish linkages, networks, and we call them as the CAPIPs. So what is CAPIPs? Is PESA's investment promotion partners. So we were able to establish a memorandum of understanding with, for example, when I was in the United States, with the assistance of our consul generals in our embassies, like in California, we were able to establish the partnership with the Filipino American Chambers of Industries of Los Angeles, of San Francisco, of New York, New Jersey, and many more are coming. So what is the role of our CAPIPs? No? They are going to organize investments forum right there in their states, or they will bring or organize a delegation of investors to be brought to the country, so they can see for themselves our economic zones, and they will be briefed, and we will establish B2B agreements with our domestic enterprises, our Filipino exporters, and other companies, no? So ito yung isang program natin. So we are creating partnerships who will help promote PESA's economic zones and investment programs. Next is we are building closer partnership also and linkages with our foreign embassies in the Philippines. So through their commercial or trade attaches, they are going to link us with their chambers of commerce and industry in their countries. So this will also be become a partner of PEZA. They will be among our PESA investment promotion partners, who we will encourage to invest in the country, organize themselves as a delegation again. So malilimit, no? We will be able to limit our road shows abroad, no? Kasi one road show, for example, will cost as much. So instead of conducting road shows, our CAPIPs will be the one to organize the investors forum there in their country, or they organize a delegation to visit, to come here and see for themselves our economic zones programs. Okay, then we have other programs like because of Administrative Order 18 and the recent Balik Probinsya program of Senator Bongo. No? So PESA is now identifying more and different types of economic zones that we are going to build in the countryside. So that building different types because PESA is promoting an environment-friendly industrialization. So we are transforming our present economic zones to become green, healthy, sustainable, and smart eco zones. And we have now a new concept of our economic zone is towards building townships. So our new concept of economic zone is not only environment friendly, whatever is the potential of the land and the resources of that land, that will be the type of an economic zone that we will
Okay.
put up. So
Excellent.
both the public and the private sector landowners, for example, are encouraged to register their lands and their buildings for our ICBPOs to be registered as economic zones in PEZA. So far,
Okay.
it's PEZA who was the authority to register economic zones, both vertical and horizontal. So that's
Okay.
our proactive way of marketing and promoting investments to the country.
Thank you, DG Cheng. Before turning was this the mic to the question to Governor Angie, I would like to know, and this has been one of the questions being asked by some of our industry stakeholders. In the last 12 months, Governor Gerald Cheng, how many provincial PESA sites have been proclaimed by the Office of the President?
Okay, that's a good question. Actually, under AO 18, which encourages us to build economic zones in the countryside and impose a moratorium for eco zones in Metro Manila. No?
Mhm.
Ito ngayon the request of our 9 mayors of Metro Manila, because Metro Manila actually has only 5 business districts occupied by our IT centers, no? And our IT BPO companies. So 5 business districts. This is in Makati, in BGC, in Ortigas, in Quezon, in Muntinlupa, no? So 9 other cities of Metro Manila don't even have a single IT center, no, or an IT
Okay.
BPO company, no. So we wrote
Okay.
we wrote the Office of the President if they can lift that moratorium in Metro Manila, because we found out, especially now in this COVID crisis, na itong IT BPO sector natin is the one maintaining the economy right now, and maintaining the big number of workers still working.
Okay.
So, and then we also wrote DICT Secretary Hunasan to encourage ITBPO companies to go to the countryside to please improve our IT infrastructure. No, even during this COVID crisis, we are requiring more work from home, especially in our ITBPO companies. No? But one problem is, again, the density is still low for our IT infrastructure, here in Metro Manila. So IBPAP was
Okay.
very, very active, and also supported by PESA, requesting the ICT that this must be addressed so that we can have more work from home, no? Effective work from home arrangements once our density will be increased.
Okay. Thank you. Now, going back to Governor Angie, so how does BOI intend now to do its countryside programs?
Of course, we have to revisit our investment promotion activities. No, we could no longer uh, do the same thing as what we used to. No? But given the general sentiment of manufacturing companies to concentrate on recovery plans rather than on relocation or expansion moves for the time being, as well as the intention of foreign governments to bring businesses back to their home country, the Philippines, or for the BOI, we will focus on the promotion of the IT BPM industry, specifically to US and Australia markets. The
Mm-hmm.
Philippines
Mm-hmm.
can take advantage of the outsourcing opportunities resulting from the impact of COVID-19 on the back office operations of companies in the healthcare, hospitals, hospices, insurance, pharma, retail operations, F&A, consumer retail operations, general insurance, and others. The Philippines can also leverage on its capabilities and advantages in the IT-BPM sector, as this relate to the manufacturing value chain and as COVID accelerates the demand for connectivity and digitization. The Philippines can offer outsourcing as a tool to help companies in their business recovery plans. And then the Philippines archipelagic states is a boon against viral pandemics. With next wave cities or digital cities, our islands are capable of hosting largely isolated, socially distant concentrations of IT-BPM workers that can provide relief and redundant operations to US and Australian companies and their customers in times of disruption. So we are looking at the following recommendations to reinforce and sustain these advantages. We're exploring providing incentives to IT-BPM companies in acquiring or upgrading the remote work from home technical capabilities of their workers, tax and duty-free importation of equipment, even if the equipment are to be used in the workers' residence, with the end in view of ensuring the privacy and security requirements of US clients. We're also exploring at institutionalizing a viral pandemic early warning and ECQ response for the IT-BPM industry designed to ensure uninterrupted operations, the sustained provision of food, health services, transport, and utilities appropriate and safe accommodation for workers. And then we're going to move also for the early resolution of CITIRA bill. Of course, we're going to insert additional incentives given the recent development on this pandemic, and a definitive guidance on the revised investment incentive package for foreign IT-BPM investments. And also, we're going to move for the further liberalization of the foreign investment negative list to allow greater, if not full, foreign participation in critical industries, including telecoms, construction, practice of professions.
Okay.
And then spearhead the creation of, one more, Yusek Mon. We're going to spearhead the creation of more next wave digital cities or IT-BPM hubs capable of hosting continued ECQ operations outside of Metro Manila during a pandemic. That's it.
Okay, that's good. You know, that's very, very close to my heart. I have a lot of questions for both BOI and PESA, but I'd like to ask at this point, Attorney Johann, you have the Data Privacy Council now. What is this for?
Okay, so the Data Privacy Council consists of different sectors. So there's sectors from almost, we have representatives from almost all sectors. So I'm the representative for the BPO sector. We also have the retail and marketing, utilities, transportation. So this includes the data protection officers of these different companies, and we help them to comply with privacy laws. So today, the National Privacy Commission is not more of a police that tells companies that, oh, what you're doing is wrong, but we are here more to advise, inform, guide companies towards compliance.
Okay. And you're actually working very, very closely with the industry organizations like IBPAP and CCAP, HIMAP.
Yes, because some of the heads of these organizations are also executive members of our DP Council. So I think Attorney from the BPO sector is the vice president. And we have other members from different sectors like telecommunications, who are also members of the executive council of the DP Council.
Okay. That's great to hear. Okay.
Yes,
now,
so we're
going back to...
DGG Harry.
Sorry, Attorney Johann.
I just said that we're very collaborative with our stakeholders in order to help them build trust in their businesses through data protection.
Okay, okay. Now, let me go back to that statement of DG Cheng a while ago. Did I understand it right that you're coming up with some, you know, sort of pandemic support for some of our PESA locators?
Yeah, assistance, yes. Let me ask DDG Harry Abordo to explain what are PESA's emergency assistance and reprieves that we are now
Oh,
providing our ecozone operators and export enterprises, locator companies inside our public and private ecozones. DDG Harry can
yeah, DG
expound.
Harry?
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon also, Yusek. Firstly, so I think everybody in the industry already knows this. A good 2 weeks before the ECQ was implemented, we had already issued an assistance. Actually, this is assistance in the form of not requiring the usual document required for those that are moving out equipment to implement work from home operations. So as soon as the ECQ kicked in, so there was no more requirement for the usual letters of authority, the PESA permit forms 8106, etc., etc. So this was already in place and it is being used until now for those that have work from home operations and even in-house operations that are still ramping up as of now. This is effective until July 31, but we have a clamor already, Ma'am DG, and as I had already earlier informed her, a good number of our IT enterprises are requesting for an extension of the work from home arrangement. Though as of now, the Director General has already presented to the PESA board, and the PESA board has already approved, in fact, a 30% work from home allowance for all IT enterprises. That means that for 30% of their total revenues from work from home is allowed on an annual basis, and the said 30% work from home revenues will be covered by the 5% tax on gross income incentive. And
oh,
already,
okay.
that's already approved and it is actually implementable already for year 2020. But I already informed also the DG and she is very supportive and will support the request of our companies to even increase this because of the situation now where really in effect because of the physical distancing requirement, this will effectively reduce the in-office personnel to just about 50%. So if
Yes,
we
definitely.
apply simple logic, that means at least 50% will be work from home if they are going to retain their original number of employees, which I hope they will eventually. So also, PESA processing fees for all types of PESA actions, which is one of the main sources of our revenues. As we mentioned earlier, we do not receive any budget from the national government. And ma'am, I also told them that we are in the office now because we are reviewing our budget to reduce the budget because the OF mandated PEZA to actually remit to it all of our, practically all of the reserve funds of PEZA. So we will still have to bank the eventual payments of processing fees, although at this time they have been deferred until the situation becomes quite normal already. So in fact,
Yeah.
for the
Okay,
public
okay. We all
economic
know
zone,
that PESA is actually not the typical government office.
thank you.
Self-reliant, self-sustaining, resource generating.
But we pay taxes to government.
Yes, we don't enjoy our own incentives. Miss
And
Harry, can you mention about the
Yes,
pop-up centers that we allow our IT BPOs?
DDG Harry,
Pop-up centers.
please continue.
yes, ma'am. So under our Memo Circular 2020-011, they are not limited, the IT companies are not limited to work from home. They can also establish what they call pop-up centers, because we realize that some residences, of course, are not exactly suitable for the IT industry requirements. And so this is also allowed at this time. And we are thankful enough, and BG is very thankful enough that the IT industry has sustained at least a very sizable portion of their employment. And so we allow them to set up whatever types of arrangement they wish to do, so that at least this will continue to give employment also to our very valued employees. And we thank the IT companies also, because I understand that some companies are paying full salaries for their employees even without work. So this is something that we are very grateful to our IT industry for. Also, in addition to what BG said, yes, sir. Mon?
Bachi, can we actually mute some of the the mics?
Oops.
Go ahead, DGG Harry.
Yes, and very importantly, the DG also wanted to send a message to the private
Guys,
owners
DGG.
of the the IT and industrial parks that we have, because she issued a memo circular on the deferment of rental payments in the public economic zone. So that means
Bachi.
yes, and deferment even of the payment of utilities in the public zones, and grace period for all unpaid accounts. So actually, the deferment of rental payments and deferment of payment of utilities applies to the public zones because these are payable to PEZA. So, but essentially what the DG intends also is to send out a message also to the private developers to more or
Looks
less
like
consider.
we're having some
Okay.
DDG Harry. I'll come back to you later. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, Nisek.
I'd like to actually ask Governor Angie to actually some about the new investment areas that they're proposing to.
Right now, we just decided on the IT BPM industry kasi because of the manufacturing sector, I guess. Let me uh, quote what the AmCham China said, no, that around 90% of companies surveyed, U.S. companies, these are the U.S. companies, said that their long-term supply chain strategy for China will remain regardless of the impact of COVID-19, or that it is too soon to tell, with only 4% certain that they will be reducing manufacturing and sourcing from China. So definitely for the manufacturing sector, we have to go slow on this, no, because even some countries like Japan and Korea, their governments have laid down their respective business recovery support packages to encourage their companies moving out of China to return to their home countries, no? So I guess we're just looking at the BPM so far, no, right now. But if ever there would be some activities for the manufacturing sector, it could be those that, like for example, as you have read, that the repurposing of manufacturing facilities, like for example, In the case of Distillery Alam Tuaco, that they used to export alcoholic beverages, but upon the request of the government, they repurposed their operation now that they're producing ethyl alcohol. And also some garment companies, those Luentai companies, they have actually repurposed some of their activities too. They are now producing this garment, no? So these things, these products, these activities, the BOI is really extending a lot of support. And we, as I said earlier, that we have included this in our IPP that will be signed by the President anytime soon.
Thank you, Governor Angie. Let me check. If
excuse me, Sir Mon.
Yes.
Sorry. We've got a lot of questions coming from our participants right now, and if you don't mind, sir, this is for DDG, Harriet.
Okay, go ahead.
And it says here, if an existing project is already under 5% GIT, and we will do work from home for same site, please advise if the 5 GIT from work from home revenues will be on top of the 5% GIT already recognized for the said site.
Yes, based on the existing policy, work from home will enjoy the 5% gross income tax incentive. But as of now, the policy is capped at work from home revenues amounting to a total, which is the cap of 30% of total revenues of the company for the year. So this will be taken cumulatively for the year in terms of revenues of work from home versus revenues generated from in-office operations. So as I mentioned, there have been requests from IT enterprises to increase at least for the year the 30% cap because, as I mentioned earlier, the social distancing or physical distancing requirement will effectively reduce the occupancy in the current workplace to practically just 50% also of the workforce pre-ECQ. So that is something that we already brought up with the DG and we'll bring up to the PEZA board once it is convened. So up to the extent of 30% of work from home revenues based on existing policy, the 30% work from home revenues will be covered by the 5% gross income tax incentive.
A follow-up question to that, Ramon, for you. What if there is no on-site revenue and all are from WFH, only 30% will be subject to 5%?
That is something that, again, we will have to bring up to our PEZA board. By the way, the 30% cap was actually issued by the PEZA board, and thankfully, the Department of Finance representative was there in the board meeting, and she approved the 30% cap. But considering the extraordinariness, this is a very unusual situation. We will bring to the PEZA board the matter of the entitlement of work from home operations during the ECQ and even the GCQ period, because we already have a circular from the DTI that says that during the ECQ, there will still be a cap of 50% of total workforce, and there's still the near site accommodation requirements, etc. So these are issues that we need to bring to the board. But the DG will assure you, as she has, we have already brought this matter up to her, that DG will be supportive of what the needs of our industries are, especially in this very difficult time. So as of now, the 30% cap is the policy. but we will bring to the PEZA board the matter of work from home operations being more than the 30% cap or entirely work from home operations during the ECQ.
Thank you very much for that explanation, DDG Harriet. Back to you, Sir Mon.
So hi, Sir Mon. Before you go back to the panelists, there are other questions, I think, coming from Karen Batumbakal of the country head of Tenet Health. Karen, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think, hi, thank you. And just want to say to everybody on the call, Yusek Mon, Governor Angie, DG Ching, and DDG Harriet, that we're all very appreciative of everything that you do. Very appreciative. But I think my question, I guess I had two questions. The first one was answered about the work from home. The second question had to do with power stability. So I do know that you cannot you are not Meralco, but just wanted you to know that some of the issues that we're facing with our staff who are working from home, it's emerging only. It's not a major issue yet, but we did experience this past week with some power outages and brownouts in certain locations, and for a certain period, which of course meant that our staff couldn't work or be productive. I hope that the
Anyway, the
government
question
looks
was
at the power
actually about
situation.
the current power situation, especially for our work from home workers. And there's even a joke around that the transformers should actually be moved from. Hi, Karen.
Yeah, hi, Yusek Mon. I heard you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I heard you. Yeah, so that's the question. Hope or maybe the not a question but a suggestion to maybe DG Plaza and to Governor Angie to help us, for government to just be aware that this is a situation now, and particularly for IT BPO where we work at night. I don't know how the power distributor does load balancing, and because obviously there's load balancing for these distributors. We Metro Manila, we do need the power situation to be stable as much as possible. So that's my request to just see what we can do about that. Thank you. Thank you, Mon.
Thank you, Karen. Any reaction from both PESA and BOI?
We're going to look into this, and we have to consult the Department of Energy to see the situation, the power situation, and then from there we're going to do something about it. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, and for PEZA, Mon, the DOE Undersecretary is a member of the PEZA board. We'll bring this up when we will have, hopefully next week, we will have a virtual PEZA board meeting. So we'll
That's
bring
great.
the matter up to them. And if I may add to the reprieves mentioned by DDG Harry for our locator companies in PEZA, she
Please,
made
please go
mention
ahead,
of, yeah,
DG.
she made mention of the 90 days payment of the rent for our 4 public eco zones. Same with the accounts payable by our utility providers in our eco zones. So we give them 90 days to settle their rental fees. We are also asking the private eco zone operators to do the same to their locator companies. No? So this includes our IT buildings, our IT centers. We will be sending them our letter suggesting that they also will provide some reprieves to their locator companies. Okay, then one consideration that we will bring up to the PEZA board is the inclusion of the expenses in this emergency or quarantine measures that we are employing, like the shuttle services, the housing facilities, that this be included among the allowable deductions to the 5% GIE.
Okay.
So para naman kumbaga ma-covered sa allowable deductions yung expenses of our companies during this crisis period in the very costly housing facility, the shuttle services, and others.
That's great to hear, DG. That's great. Definitely, that's good news for the industry.
Yes.
Okay. Any other question, Bachi? I saw our
Yes, sir.
raising his hand a while ago.
Yes, there's a question from Don Felban. And then there are also some questions from some of the members here related to the Pesa Incentive or the tax due this coming, supposed to be based on the 2019 income. So will there be a subsidy or a reduction on that, DG?
Yeah, actually, we are asking. IBTAP already submitted their proposed economic stimulus and reprieves. No? So we submitted actually to the Economic Affairs Committee of the House and the Senate our proposed economic stimulus for our IT BPOs and other registered export services and export companies of PEZA. We are awaiting for other suggestions so that we can endorse this for the PEZA board's approval, because this is a change of policy, no? And we have some here, some reprieves that we want to give you, but needs the PEZA board's approval. So we will appreciate if you will continue to send us your recommendations or your requests for some assistance and reprieves.
Thank you, DG. Thank you for that. So I think Don Felban must also have.
Thank you, DG.
Yes. Don, are you still there?
Any other questions, Bachi?
Yes, we
Bachi,
have
any
a
other
question from Don Felban, sir.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Don.
Yes. Well, okay. Let me just read the question of Don. This is for the DG Ching. We heard IATF recommending another 10 days of ECQ, and they're asking for your advice.
10 days? You mean after May 15?
Yes, ma'am.
We haven't heard of that yet. Wala pang advice sa amin. So,
all right.
In fact, we're already excited to resume 100%. We're looking forward to that. That's why PEZA is really trying its best to maintain a COVID-free ecozone. And we see to it that we will address immediately those workers who are suspected as POIs or POM. So thank God, of the 405 economic zones, this includes our IT centers, we had reported less than 10 POIs and POMs, and they are at the end found negative, and they are now well. So we are ready for a 100% full operations because of this perfect balancing act that we are doing, protecting the health of our workers, protecting the COVID-free premises of our ecozones.
Okay. There's another question from Joyra Serrano. Hi, DG Plaza. Does the breakdown of operational IT BPM companies you mentioned earlier, which is Luzon, 63%, Visayas, 54% of in Mindanao, 100% include, does this include those working from home?
Yes, yes. So most of the IT BPOs is skeletal and work from home. Majority is work from home. So in the IT BPO sector, overall operating IT BPOs are, no, it's 62%. That's overall. And in Luzon, 63% are operating. In the Visayas, 54%, and in Mindanao, 100% of our IT BPOs, BPO companies are operating.
Okay, thank you very much for that, DG. I guess this question is um, from Ms. Judy Weisenhand. It says here, what are the BOI initiatives for the IT BPO companies post-COVID? I think this is for you, Governor Angie.
Yeah, as I said a while ago, we're still in the process of coming up with a policy paper because we're still gathering from different stakeholders. First, we would like to know the sentiments of the global investing community. And then from there, we would be able to see what are the sectors that would be there's that possibility of outsourcing or relocating to the Philippines. And then from there, we would be able to target these companies. And we have already asked our different posts to touch base with target companies. We will do our promo basically from the post, and then from here in Manila, we can do also some webinars, and we have already touched base with our networks abroad. So we're going to come up with and we will gladly share to you what would be our policy recommendations as far as investment promotion for the IT/BPM industry is concerned.
All right, thank you very much. Sir Mon, back to you. Yes, Sir Mon.
Okay. Sorry, I actually couldn't get the answers that were. And
I think Sir Mon is having a trouble with his connection. Yeah. But anyway, I think there is a question from Sir Butch Valenzuela. Sir Butch, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and ask your question to our panelists, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I guess my question is, with the government's push for, the Balik Provincia, with the Balik Provincia push of the government, do you think that the president will be promulgating more Pesa sites in the province? Because we have actually a site that has been Pesa approved in Bacolod, and it's been a little bit over a year, and that site still has not been promulgated because of the moratorium.
Yes, okay. Yes, if I may answer that, Mon, spreading the creation of different types of economic zones in the countryside is exactly in the provisions of the executive order on the Balik Provincia, supporting the Administrative Order 18, which again directs PEZA to spread the creation of economic zones in the countryside. So we have been writing the Office of the Executive Secretary, who will approve the presidential proclamations, to make some faster approvals, because as of today, I think we have still 70 plus or more unproclaimed economic zones pending at the Office of the President. So it has affected the enthusiasm of investors to either expand or create more branches nationwide. So hopefully we will be in unison of making fast the approvals of proclamation so that we can encourage more investors to expand or build new economic zones in the countryside. That is exactly the primary goal of PEZA, no? Because we cannot attract investors to the countryside if we cannot provide them yet the location. No? So again, because we're promoting an environment-friendly industrialization and putting up green economic zones, so we are now partnering closely with the LGUs and the private sector who are landowners or building owners to include our universities, no, the state universities and colleges, and even the private universities and colleges. We are inviting them to register their campuses, no, because they own huge hectares of lands inside their campuses to build the KIST. No, this is one type of an economic zone we call as Knowledge, Innovation, Science, and Technology Parks, to be built inside the state universities and colleges, no, including the private universities and colleges. So this includes the IT BPO companies. This includes, of course, we are looking forward for foreign schools to partner with our state universities and private universities and bring their degree programs to the country so we can attract foreign students to study here, no? So that belongs to the K, the knowledge part of the KIST part. Then, of course, all other industries that are into innovation, science, and technology. So this even include the creative sector, like those filmmakers, no? Enhancement of our cultural related industries. No? They can be located in our KIST, the Knowledge, Innovation, Science, and Technology Parks. So this will be a very good attraction for allocation, especially for the IT BPOs, because it is inside the campuses. So the schools, the universities will likewise match their degree programs and skills training that they're going to offer to their students, which are the needs, the manpower needs of the IT BPOs and other KIST related industries. So we're trying to be creative by not only promoting an environment-friendly ecozone or green ecozone, but we creating different types of ecozone that will fit all types of industries. No? So we can invite all types of industries in the world to come. So we have tourism economic zone, we have agro-industrial economic zone, agroforestry economic zone, we have aquamarine economic zone, we also have the island cities economic zone, because we have 7,600 islands in the country, and most of these islands are idle. So we have that unique economic zone we call as island cities, where we invite investors who will put up the capital cities of the world. So they make it as a tourism destination type of an economic zone. So we will be able to establish the Philippines as an international tourism destination with the capital cities of the world in our island cities economic zone. So ito yung these are the different types of economic zones, so that all those millions of hectares idle lands can already be utilized. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Any other
yes.
question, Bachi?
Yes, sir. I think we have from is this Miss Ong?
Go ahead.
But anyway, sir, before that, sir, I just have a question coming from Miss Ben Coronel. It's asking, will PEZA test be free for the employees, for our employees?
I think that was answered a while ago.
Oh, it was. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
That was answered a while ago.
Yeah.
Mikey Ong of the LegCom actually has a question.
Yes, please.
Hi, yeah, thanks for giving me the floor. I just wanted to sana PGG Abordo or PG Plaza to talk a little bit more about the center. We understand there's some BPOs that have used this, but can you share for what are your expectations? What are how is it defined? How can we go about registering it with PEZA, etc. Thank you very much.
Come again, come again. Medyo.
Sorry,
For the
ma'am, regarding the pop-up centers that
yes.
was mentioned. Yes, po.
Yeah, actually, we provided the and we allowed the pop-up centers. We're testing the waters, no, just for this crisis period, no, because as mentioned by DDG Harry, not all homes are conducive for the IT BPO requirements of work from home, no. So that's why we allow pop-up centers in any available building where our work from home workers will have to do their work. So we issue permits for these IT BPOs who wants to avail of pop-up centers. Hopefully, if we will see this fit, no, we will confer it with the PESA board if we're going to make this as a permanent policy already, or we will only adopt this during emergency and crisis period.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is very helpful for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're running out of time, or rather, we've run out of time. And at this point, I'd like to thank our panelists, of course, led by the Director General of PESA, General Ching Plaza, our Governor from the Philippine Board of Investment, Governor Angie Cayas, our DDG, Harriet Abordo, and of course, our panelists from the National Privacy Commission, Attorney Johann, Medallia. Thank you guys for joining our conversation this afternoon and spending time with our partners from the healthcare information management sector. So at this point, I'd like to turn this over to the chair, the new chair rather of HIMAP, Ms. Beng Coronel, for her closing remarks.
Thank you, Mon. Thank you for really joining us this afternoon. And well, to our panel, it's not just thanking you for joining us today, but actually it's really showing our appreciation for really helping out the industry. You were way ahead in terms of looking at the things that we will be needing even before our companies have thought of, say, all the opportunities like allowing us to bring out the desktops to our homes, looking at extending the deadlines for bringing out your laptops or your infrastructure to the place where your people will work. So you have actually thought of all of these things. So we thank you, Director General Chin Plaza, DDG Harriet, of course, Governor Angie, and um, Attorney
Johann Medallia.
Joanne Medallia of TPC. Actually, for Joanne, it's a good thing that we have this data privacy law because it actually strengthens our positioning in terms of being a good place to outsource the projects to us, not just to our offices, but also to the houses of our people. No, it has been a very hard and difficult question for a lot of our member companies. Will the clients really accept or give us clearance knowing that we are bringing the work to the homes of our people. But I guess having that data privacy law being enforced, plus of course the necessary security procedures and tools that are in place, they were able to give us clearance and allowed us to work and be productive for the ECQ and GCQ time. So thank you for all of these things. Now that you're even thinking of putting out shuttle services, accommodations for people, for on-site people that would have to work on-site, as well as providing the testing facility to make it easier for our employees to get the test. I think these are things that we see are really well thinking about our welfare. So we thank you, and also we thank you for having a COVID-free 405 eco zones, and that's something that we can tell our clients. Remember, all our eco zones are COVID-free, so it gives them that reinforcement that yes, we can actually bring our work to the Philippines. So all of you, Angie, Governor Angie, I know that we would have additional requirements for demand generation and business development, because that's, I guess, what we would also want to get into, because we have seen that capacity can be strengthened, but what we're seeing is that from the demand side, I think we need to further strengthen our messaging. And so I think with your help and with your messages to the and linkages to different consular offices as well as trade offices, I think we can do a good job, as we have done in the past, partnering with you in terms of bringing in more work to the Philippines. And so I think we before we end, I think just one, well, I'd like to challenge the conventional thinking of everyone. What if this particular situation extends further, and there's again a rise in terms of the cases? Maybe it's time to rethink. Can you imagine really a completely virtual society for everyone, and really have a working environment really extended to the home? So it's not just offshoring to the Philippines or to the different cities, but it's really offshoring to the different homes of our employees. So again, I think it's I guess time for us to imagine what tools do we need to have in place that can bring us to that particular ideal situation. So with that, again, thank you everyone for attending this particular session until our next webinar. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Beng.
Thank you,
And of
everyone.
course, thank you very much, Sir Mon, Yusek Mon, for raising this event for us. At that note, of course, with all our panelists, thank you so much to all of you. We want to thank everybody for spending their afternoon with us again today. As always, we will be sharing the recorded session to all our participants. You have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.